Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Re-Evolution broadcast. I am Chris Rice, aka Rice Crypto, and I am joined by my partner in crime. What's your name, homeboy?
Hey guys, it's Phil Massey, the modern guru. Glad to be with you all again this evening.
Sorry it's been a delay for us doing another show together. We both have had a lot of life issues going on, not going into details, but here we are, and we've got a lot to talk about. Since last we were together, man, like the price of Bitcoin was under $10,000, and now it looks like we're getting some headway.
Yeah, it's on the up. Looks good. Everyone's feeling good.
I think what it was like last I saw was around 11.5, 11, kind of teetering in that area.
Yeah, it's been falling down a little bit since 7 o'clock tonight. But yeah, I mean, it's still holding strong above 11, and we're well on our way to 1388. Maybe Cliff was right.
Yeah, that is really cool to think about, man. And I'm sure if you're not familiar with who Cliff I is, you definitely got to research this guy. But he basically had predicted about a little over a year ago that around this time period, the price of Bitcoin was going to be 13,888.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people in the Bitcoin space doubted him when the price went above that and hit close to that 20,000 mark. And then we've seen that correction that we needed. And
dropped down to 6,000.
It did.
So,
and it's made its way up, retesting the support and resistance. And, you know, we've gotten above that. We've gotten past the 10,000 hurdle, it looks like.
I guess the mass media's projections that the sky was falling, Bitcoin was dead, all of that is not exactly accurate.
I agree. And I still think that even though, you know, we'll talk about some of the regulation stuff, but even though that's coming, I still think that the central banks, not necessarily the governments, are scared. And I think that they're spreading this propaganda because, you know, me and you see this vision that Bitcoin can one day be the world reserve currency. And that is a beautiful thing to think about. That gets rid of central banking. And, you know, so obviously this dying species is crying out, trying to do everything it can to survive because it knows its death is imminent.
I think you'll still have banks, but it is going to decrease the amount of power they have exponentially.
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely change banking as we know it, but I don't know if it'll be controlled by a central banking form. We might see what we like more of like credit union type situation.
That's correct. This is a direct assault in many ways on the entire banking system. That's what Satoshi wanted. So, yeah, and they're terrified, man. They really are. If you listen to some of them speak, they talk about how they like blockchain, but you know, I think we've covered this in previous videos, but they want centralized blockchains that will decrease their cost by cutting out their middlemen on their
right.
So, you know, I don't think that's going to happen though. I don't think that's what people want. And most of the people that are investing in this are not looking for that. So
true. But I mean, you do at the same time, like you got governments now that are trying to do cryptocurrencies like Venezuela. And from what I understand, they're getting a lot of investment. They're getting a lot of, actually, apparently a lot of U.S. investment as well. So, I mean, I guess people would speculate and be interested. So I don't put it past the Fed to eventually try to do a cryptocurrency.
Well, if you look at a situation like Venezuela, I mean, those people will you know, basically take anything right now except for what they have because their whole fiat currency has been destroyed. So they're reaching out for anything they can grasp, whether it's mining cryptos or if a government wants to issue a fiat currency or, excuse me, a cryptocurrency.
But see, now it's the president that wants to do this.
Yeah, it's centralized currency. It's going to be a centralized crypto.
The parliament there apparently is against it, but the president has, you know, rule over the situation, and so it's being created. So I mean, it may benefit the people, but in that aspect, you know, Phil, like they don't have to use a government-backed cryptocurrency to use a cryptocurrency in Venezuela. There are other cryptocurrencies that they can use, like Dash, which most likely is being the most current used currently most used crypto in Venezuela.
Which is the argument that a lot of people make. Why the hell would you want a centralized currency when you can just use decentralized ones and know that they're not being manipulated? So that's the question. I know, but that's the question the Venezuelan people are going to have to answer. They're going to have to be responsible for themselves and only go along with what they think is right for them. That I'm not an expert on Venezuelan politics. I do know a little bit of their history and of what's gone on down there, but I would not classify myself as an expert in that arena. But there was.
I was just using it as an example, though.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't trying to get into a whole topic of Venezuela, but the possibilities of government-backed cryptocurrencies and the fact that people will invest in them.
My ultimate answer is why would you want to use government sponsored cryptocurrency when you can use the ones that are out there right now that are decentralized? The only reason why I would ever, if the United States was to create a crypto, a Fed coin, quote unquote, whatever they want to call it, if you could pay your taxes in that, I would use that coin only for that purpose. But then I would use Bitcoin and Litecoin and whatever else is out there that I like for all my peer-to-peer transactions. Because bottom line is I don't trust government at all with anything. So, that's just me.
Yeah, well, that's me too. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we got together and want to do this show. Is our love for anarchy and volunteerism.
Oh yeah, and my anarchy and libertarian colors really came out this past week in a lot of ways. I had a re-energizing of my political belief system. So with all that violence that went down in Florida. So
yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think that with all this, just the best way to put it was all this shit that's going on, man. It's going to start making people think, and it's going to start waking people up. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, like to do a YouTube channel, was because I wanted to help wake people up and to get them out of this freaking matrix that they're in and realize what the hell is going on around them.
Do you think it is though? Because like when I was looking on social media, it seems like the same old people arguing back and forth and getting nowhere.
I think slowly we're making some impact, because a year ago, I wouldn't have been doing something like this. No. So as long as we've got us, people that are slowly coming on board, that's when you're going to start seeing that change and that voice coming out more, as the more people who share that. And I mean, kind of speaking on that, when I interviewed Adam Kokesh, if we can get someone like that guy on the debate stage, whether or not he gets elected, if he can present his ideas to the American public using the media outlets and going through like the true debate stage, not only would he make those other guys, at least Trump, sound like an idiot, but he would give people an opportunity to think about a choice of something that we can get back to as a country that people don't think about, which is getting rid of and dissolving the federal government and getting everything back down to a state and local community level, which is how the country was supposed to be founded in the whole beginning. So,
yeah, I mean, I like a lot of the things that Adam has to say. I watched your interview. It was well done. He did a good job. You did a great job too, buddy. The only concerns I watched that night after I watched your video, one of the things that popped up on YouTube for me was a kind of like a mini debate that he had with Stefan Molyneux. And, Stefan took him to the coals a little bit and in that conversation. And I agree with a lot of things. Those two agree on a lot of stuff. It's the stuff on the side that they disagree with about immigration and things like in that nature. But ultimately, when it comes down to this gun thing, we kind of got a little sidetracked there. But when it comes down to this gun thing, what I don't like to see is the pandering on both sides with the same narratives. Both sides do it. I happen to agree more with one side because I am a gun rights Second Amendment guy. I do own guns. I own weapons. I would never, ever use them in a manner that, in a vile, disgusting manner like that kid did, obviously. But I do believe in protection of property and the protection of life and the protection of myself and my family against the government, which is what that amendment's main reason of being put in was all about. It wasn't supplying guns to militias. It was the number one reason was to protect citizens against tyrannical government.
Yeah, I was going to, there's some quotes. This is George Mason at the Virginia's Convention to ratify the Constitution in 1788, where he said, "I ask, sir, what is the militia? It is the whole people. To disarm the people is the best and most effective way to enslave them."
Absolutely.
Thomas Jefferson said, "No man shall ever be debarred the use of arms."
Absolutely.
Samuel Adams at the Massachusetts ratifying convention in 1788. "The Constitution shall never be construed to prevent the people of the United States who are peaceable citizens from keeping their own arms." You know, we're talking Samuel Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and George Mason.
George Washington had a very good quote in there too. I don't recall it exactly. I don't have it in front of me, but he said something. Jefferson, all of them, man, they all knew what it really meant. I wish they would have clarified it a little bit more in the amendment, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, it's like what happens after these tragic events, and it totally was. It's absolutely tragic. It's senseless and stupid.
It is.
But what happens is people get extremely emotional, and the media drives up the frenzy. It's 24/7 news coverage. You got CNN with their talking heads rehammering the same points, even the fake news bullshit points, along with good ones too. They just keep delivering. The face changes, but the same line of thinking, the same propaganda is a continual stream. And it's done on the other side too. It's done on Fox News. They hammer on the same points.
But it's just a circle. It's just a circle.
It's a circle that gets us nowhere. But all these people are extremely emotional. They're all frenzied up. They're all fighting on Facebook, going at it tooth and nail with each other, destroying friendships, people blocking each other. It does nothing. It solves nothing. And why I got so angry in my video I did the other day is because it's pointless. It's fucking pointless. And I want people to start taking a look at the big picture. And in the main points that I was trying to hammer on in my video was that government is the most brutal, vile institution ever in the existence of this world, that as far as killing children,
right,
murdering children. They are the biggest destroyers of life that man has ever known. And they're all in their big groups, which is government. So you can't support all these things that grow the size of government. You can't support their tax systems. You can't support their banking arms, all their different wings of federal agencies that use violence on the citizenry, and then also go, oh, but the children, I love the children, because you're a hypocrite. You're a freaking hypocrite. And, I tried to hammer on those things the other day. I even got a little heated in my video, but, what can I say? I'm only human.
I was trying to find something about this article because I had saw something about the high school students in Florida in particular are going to be doing some sort of march. Like they're basically saying to the adults, we're tired of you guys not doing anything to basically protect us. So we need you guys to like stop arguing and figure out something that we can do so we can protect each other.
Yeah, but that's the one thing though, like they hammer the same things over and over. Government can't even enforce the gun laws that are on the books right now. So you're going to enact more gun laws, which are not going to be enforced properly. That's what their solution is. And to be honest with you, if you take guns away, you're going to take guns away from everyone. And the bad guys still get guns on the black market. When I was in high school, I'm not going to name names or situations, but I had the ability to buy assault rifles, fully automatic assault rifles, not semi-automatic. I could have got them illegally, and I could have owned them, even if
so it just puts people at risk.
Yeah, you're going to take guns away from the people that, and the vast majority of people are law-abiding. 99%, over 99%. It's these shitheads that are mentally disabled or have huge mommy and daddy issues have family problems, psychological problems, get bullied in schools, which this kid was repeatedly when he was younger. And then he takes out his anger, his frustration at society, at our culture, all the mixed signals that come across the television, which is raising these children now. And he does what he did, a heinous act as a way to funnel his anger out on the world.
Right.
And then the response, the knee-jerk emotional reaction is always from one side, get the guns. The other side is heartless sometimes in certain aspects and doesn't, come to the table to talk and help people get through these situations. They're more hard asses about, well, these are my rights. I don't give a shit what you have to say, when these people are super emotional. So it's just bam, and nothing ever gets solved, nothing ever gets done. And the real issues, like in my personal opinion, like government tyranny and the use of violence and force and just about everything it does, it kind of like never gets even brought to the table. And all the different things that go into the equation, which causes us to be in this situation we're in right now, are not put under a microscope. It's just these very basic things that people can understand that they just argue about it, and then nothing gets done, and people we're just back right at square one the next time. Some mentally ill child and most of these shooters have been on all these psychotropic drugs that the pharmaceutical industry.
I mean, I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories when it comes into some of that stuff. I don't know what causes someone to ultimately decide to do such a heinous act, but
well, it's not a conspiracy theory. Our youth in this country.
I'm talking about like MK Ultra, like somebody was
No. I'm not getting into that stuff.
I'm saying I've heard all kinds of really crazy off the wall stuff.
I'm just talking about what is well-known fact. I have some theories on outside of this realm, but what is well-known fact is our children are overdrugged. I mean, all Xanax, Ritalin, all these things they just pump these kids up with in the school systems.
Yeah.
The effects are starting to become known now. These are psychotropic drugs. They're changing their brain chemistries. These kids are addicted to these things, and they're losing their fucking minds over it. And then the answer is, well, go after the gun guys.
Right. No, dude, I know. I mean, you may not even know this, and because I'm from Northern Virginia, outside DC, and in Chantilly, Virginia is the National Rifle Association. And I actually, right outside of Fairfax, Virginia, right in Fairfax, I worked there for a little while. And I'm not necessarily pro-gun. I'm pro-Constitution. At the time, I was singing in a band, and I was all about freedom of speech. And I realized that if you take away any of our rights, that it's easy to take away other rights. So why
not just take them all?
Right. So we got to protect them.
Let's go back to the pre-Magna Carta days. Let's go back to feudalism. That's what these globalists want, anyways. And this is not a conspiracy theory either. I mean,
right? I know, dude.
In their agendas, they've written about it. They've discussed it publicly. They don't call it those names because they don't want to connotate negative terms to what they're doing. But it's a feudalist state. That's what they want. They want huge centralized governments and no rights for the people, or very little rights anyway. So,
I mean, it's the one thing that I think that would be effective. I mean, at least to help put a start to things is education. Proper gun education. If we're going to be teaching sex education in school and things like that, we should be teaching proper use of firearms, and then how to react in situations when you're confronted with somebody with a gun. Because I don't know how to technically act. And I don't know that just like freaking out and running when you got everybody else freaking out and running is the answer. Because obviously somebody's going to get hurt in that process. So, I mean, there's got to be some sort of education that can at least help in the situation. And then I don't know, man, like that's the ultimate question. How do you fix something like this?
And a good question the other side asks is, what's the limit? Should you have fully automatic assault rifles? Should you have tanks? Should we be able to own nukes? And my response is, how many people do you know that have the money that can afford an M1A1 Abrams tank? I don't know anybody.
Right.
I don't know anybody that can afford a nuclear missile, to be honest with you. So that's the we're getting into the stretch reality, in the woo-woo land again. I don't even want to own fully automatic assault rifles because they're inaccurate. It's not an accurate weapon. Anyone that is a rifle aficionado knows that you'll take a semi-automatic over a fully automatic rifle because of accuracy issues. But I don't want to go down that hole right now. But there's just so many things. It's just entertaining to read all this stuff. So
it's sad, man. But the unfortunate thing is, like, events like this are taking place so much that people are just getting used to it and getting conditioned, and it's not having the effect that it needs to have.
Yeah. In Illinois, when you're talking about education, okay, in Illinois, in order to get a concealed carry permit, you have to go through classes. You have to get a permit to do. I can't comment on all the states because all the state laws are different.
I'm talking public schools. Like, they should be doing this stuff in middle school and high school or something, like teaching kids about it. I mean, obviously adults who are getting licenses are going to be required to get this education. That's obvious. But
I would like to see our education system morph, dude. I'd like to see we talk about cryptos being an evolution, not a revolution. Well, I would like to see our education systems become an evolution, not a revolution back to anything. Our school system is based off the Kaiser in Germany, late 1890s. Our whole school system was built are based off what the Germans built. And it is so far from what the original schools were with the Greek academies. Like, men coming together, children coming together to talk.
Right. No, this is all about programming.
Right. Our school system is regimented curriculum. You have a leader in front of the class who gives the curriculum to the students. They all memorize the curriculum. They take a standardized test, and that's what their schooling is, right, for the most part. There's exceptions, but that's the general overview of our education system. And it is clear to me, at least.
They choose what they teach, though, and then a lot of the information that they teach is misinformation.
It's political. And it's also the biggest issue that you have with it is we are spending more money now than ever in history, even with if adjusted for inflation, than ever before. And our school systems are the fucking worst they've ever been. More money into things does not solve problems, but that's
everything right now is the worst it's ever been, man.
That's true,
that's why I feel like the crash is the change is imminent.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's clear as day. It's logic and reason. We have too big of a government. Government has taken over. It's become the nanny state. It's raising the children. It's putting us to work 40 hours, 50, 60, 70 hours when you have 2 jobs a week just to make a living, just to pay
right,
paycheck to paycheck.
Just to stay in debt.
Becoming worker bees. We're good little workers. And our children are being raised by the state for one purpose alone, to be good little workers.
Right.
There's no Greek academy anymore, man. There's no logic and reason. There's no critical thought. There's no thinking outside the box. Human beings used to be cherished for innovation and creativity outside of the box. Now, if you're a creative child, they pump you full of Xanax and Ritalin because you talk too much in the middle of class. I went through this shit when I was a kid. They couldn't shut me up. I wasn't an idiot, and I wasn't, retarded or what. I don't know what the word is, mentally challenged, whatever you want to call it, the PC word. But their answer was to send me to a psychologist and try to get me Ritalin. And I didn't want it. My mom didn't make me do it. But that's the answer in our school systems now. It's just get them through, get them out, pump them through. They're it's like a factory.
Well, dude, I mean, that's why we got to keep doing this, man, and keep talking this talk and do what we can to help change the world.
Trying, brother.
And since we're kind of talking about that, and we talk about in other shows about community, about the idea of me and you getting together and doing these shows and posting them on our YouTube channels each, and the idea that we want to get together with other YouTubers.
Absolutely.
We want to be able to build a community. So if you're a YouTuber and you're watching this, I mean, definitely hit me or Phil up. If you want to join us on one of our shows, or if you'd like to have us join you, or either one of us join you on a show,
we'd love to. That would be awesome.
YouTube is great. Now, DTube is my preference, but DTube is still kind of in that beta stage and building out. They don't have as much content, and it's mainly like kind of anarchy crypto stuff. It's kind of one-sided in a sense. So I mean, I still kind of keep to YouTube for a lot of my viewing, and there's a lot of YouTubers that I reached out to that I've talked with. I'm doing every Thursday night. I'm doing a recap with Ken Bozak and Crypto Mac at like 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're just going to kind of shoot the shit and talk about like what happened that week in cryptocurrency.
He was down in Anarcho, right?
He was, and he interviewed Jay Sniff.
Nice, dude. Nice. I didn't see that.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, and then like him and Crypto do stuff. Crypto and Tiho do stuff. So it's like, the more that we can all start doing these things, and I'm going to get Tiho, to come and do something on my show. Maybe I can get him to come do a broadcast with us. I mean, he likes to talk about this kind of stuff, so maybe he would enjoy just having a good conversation where he's not focused on. I mean, I love all these guys. Everybody brings something special to. I mean, everybody does. Now, don't get me wrong. There's obviously some YouTubers out there that using naked pictures or half naked pictures of girls to try to fish people in to get to watch their views, or just other scammers who are like pushing their faucets or their ICOs or whatever. I mean, so you got to definitely, when you're checking out these YouTubers, watch more than one episode of somebody. If you enjoy them, subscribe them, like, and share the videos. But most importantly, watch more than one video so you can get a feel for these people and find out like what their goals are and what their interest in doing this is. Are they trying to benefit from you, or are they trying to help you benefit?
Did you see what Doug Polk did to Suppo Man the other day? Suppo Man, he's a pumper. He was basically we don't know for
I heard some drama about it, but I didn't really find out I've had so much stuff going on. That was the last thing I wanted to check out. I don't really like Suppo Man, but I really didn't care, but I'm curious.
The accusations is that Suppo Man has been getting paid by ICOs to pump them on his show, and he doesn't disclose it, which is, in the United States, it's actually illegal to do that. And the evidence that they have is one video he was, on there doing, his thing on there, and a little box popped open in Windows, and it had the person that was messaging him in his email telling him, okay, we're good to go on this ICO. We're going to pay you 2 Bitcoins for it. So it was right there. He did it on a live video, and he got busted, and people saved it. And now everyone's on his ass about it.
But he's not in the U.S. I don't know. He's in some European countries. So I don't know how that works.
I don't know, man. I don't
know how that works for him.
Doug is so hilarious.
That's slimy. That's shady.
Yeah, and Doug is so hilarious, though, when he assaults people that I just die laughing throughout most of the show. He's hilarious.
Just so people know, this Suppo Man guy, I mean, I'm not going to belittle his knowledge, but he's got courses on Udemy. He's got courses on Udemy. So, I mean, people could be essentially paying for his courses.
Yeah, but dude, his courses are $149.99, but for today, the special's $11.99. And then people were taking this course, and then they got into the room. It was now you have to pay another $14.99 to get the actual. Dude.
I know, but see, that's the point, that people need to be careful about. Right. The content that they're watching and absorbing, because not everything you're going to see is the truth. I mean, me and Phil talk about using critical thinking all the time, and you need to do it, especially in this space. Be careful about people on YouTube.
Yeah, and I'm not offering anybody classes or anything and I'm not taking anybody's money. I can't tell you how many people have asked me to take their money and invest it for them. I told them absolutely not. No way am I taking that on my conscience. No.
I mean, you can't, and legally we can't do something like that.
No, and you're not supposed to anyway by law.
But I mean, and what we do, because since we're not financial advisors, is we just share what we do. And if you decide that you like what we do, then cool. But at the same time, if you if you're watching either one of our channels and you see something that we're talking about and it interests you, don't do it because we're talking about it. Go and do your research and make sure you're looking into what we're talking about, because, I mean, you just don't want to trust what somebody says. You need to trust yourself. And that's why we talk about doing your own due diligence and research in this all the time, and constantly talking about educate.
And the reason being is that, nobody has a crystal ball, man. We don't know what's going to happen. There's so many things that could happen that could go wrong at any time with any of these currencies or the market in general. This is all a risk. It's all a risk. So, you have to be willing to take that risk with your money. And, me and Chris are only going to tell you what we do with ours. And if you want to follow along, so be it. But that's your responsibility. That was your decision. And, I will offer tips and hints on how to get accounts or work through issues you're having while trading. But I'm never going to tell you, okay, you need to do this. I can only tell you what I do with my money. So
right. Like in some of my videos, I'll do tutorials about how to stake your NEO, but it's not telling you that you need to buy NEO. It's if you already own NEO and you're looking to do this. So now,
where were you this weekend, dude, to help me with my Litecoin Cash?
Litecoin Cash. Before we get into Litecoin Cash, let's talk about Litecoin real quick.
Go ahead.
Before we talk about Litecoin Cash, let's talk about Litecoin, because we got the Coinbase Commerce stuff going on. We've got Litecoin, the Lite Pay that's supposed to be launching on the 26th. Is
that Friday? I think it's Friday, right?
I believe so.
Somebody said Friday in my comment.
I want to say Monday.
Is it Monday? Okay.
I want to say Monday. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I'm getting ready to look at the calendar here.
Somebody in my comment section said Friday for my video.
Monday the 26th, which makes sense that they're doing it at the beginning of the week. So
Lite Pay is awesome. So
yeah, I mean, that's going to be that in Coinbase Commerce, man, which is like a PayPal situation that Coinbase is going to have available. Those are going to open up a whole lot of different avenues. And then we saw that, I believe we talked about it, but with us, Coinbase adding SegWit, which is supposed to be taking place anytime. And you told me about Bittrex.
If I can just say one thing about Lite Pay, sorry, man, to pull it back, but a guy asked a very interesting question in one of the chat groups on Facebook that you and I both belong to. He said about Lite Pay. He said, well, why would I want to, load up a Lite Pay card with Litecoin, and then so it just reverts back to fiat when I make a purchase? He's like, what's the point of that? And here it is. Here's the answer. Because Litecoin, I believe, is going to go up in value. I want my fiat purchasing Litecoin because I believe Litecoin is going to blow up soon. Instead of me just having fiat money sitting in a checking account, collecting cobwebs, not doing anything, I'd rather have my money in Litecoin. And then when I have to make a fiat purchase, until all the merchants have adopted their system over, I can use Lite Pay. So I can use my Litecoin that is increasing in value every day, in my opinion, moving forward.
Right.
But I would rather have that than me just storing my money in this fiat garbage in checking accounts.
Yeah, I mean, because ideally, I mean, you could have a situation where your money goes up 50%. Let's say Litecoin goes up 50% in a particular 48-hour period.
And if I own, and let's say, Chris, that you own a bunch of, Apple stock. So say you got a bunch of money tied up in Apple. Well, does Apple have, a card that you can use your stock to buy things with?
Right.
No, not at all. This is so awesome. It's amazing.
Oh, I agree.
So
I agree. And I mean, and the fact that, that you can have your Litecoin in the wallet and not necessarily dump it onto your card and still take advantage of the volatility of the price. So whereas your fiat money, if you have $20 in your savings account or your checking account, that $20 is always going to be $20. Right. But if I have $20 in Litecoin, it's possible that when I wake up tomorrow, it could be $30 in Litecoin.
Yeah, and I have a lot of Litecoin, so I could load up Lite Pay with one Litecoin and be able to be just fine with it for a while until I got to load it up. So,
I mean, that's the idea. I mean, and also too, I mean, we talk about hodling coins and stuff, but if everybody was to hodl their coins and
Don't
not
panic.
actually use them, though, if everybody was to hodl and not use the coins, there would be no action. There would be nothing happening. So, I mean, we need to, at the same time, use these cryptocurrencies.
Mhm.
You know, we need to get transactions going and build up a use case for them, which is, you know, again, why the Light Pay, the Coinbase Commerce, and other things to come are going to like help bridge that gap to get us into
Yeah. And if you are on
get more
Twitter,
people into cryptocurrency.
yeah, if you're on Twitter, pay with Litecoin, hashtag pay with Litecoin, you are seeing all these merchants that are now accepting Litecoin and Bitcoin. Litecoin, Bitcoin, both together, all over the place. Crypto acceptance.
Right.
One of my old high school buddies, he owns a car dealership in Scottsdale, or I think it's in Mesa actually, but wholesale direct. And he is selling, he will accept Bitcoin and Litecoin now for all of the trucks he sells.
That's awesome.
I thought it was pretty awesome. And he was telling me a story. He sold like a used truck for like $8,000. And the dude was like, it was during the crash. And the dude wanted to get rid of his Litecoins, right? So he's like, well, would you take Litecoin? And my buddy was like, well, sure. So he like got $8,000 worth of Litecoin, and then it went up to like 230 like a week and a half later. So he ended up getting 16 grand for a truck that was worth 8. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, that's the power of cryptocurrencies. Now, eventually, once we get that full-on usage by the world, then, you know, we're not going to see that volatility happening, and the price will settle at a range, and it'll have like an actual value. It might fluctuate a little bit, and that's long ways off. But that would be the ideal future. I mean, it's not like, I don't want people to think that if they get into cryptocurrency that this is how it's always going to be.
No, the volatility will even out once the market cap starts to increase. And how it's going to do that is kind of what Giancarlo and Clayton from the SEC and the CFTC were talking about, is they're not allowing ETFs and major monster global hedge funds to get in yet because they're worried about those scam shitcoins that we have discussed in previous videos as well.
Right.
And once they're given the green light, dude, you're going to see the cryptocurrency market cap go to 1 trillion, 2 trillion, 3 trillion, 4 trillion. But we don't know when. Your guess is as good as mine, bud. But I think it's going to be sooner rather than later based on the tone of that meeting they had in front of those senators. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I have a crystal ball, but
no, I agree. And I mean, this is like we were talking earlier about this is like one of those rare instances of unity between the Democrats and Republicans. They want to see regulation. I mean, they don't, at the same time, now when we talk about the regulation, we're talking about allowing growth for the innovation, but putting basically if you're a shit coin or if you're a speculative coin that doesn't really have any proven results of what you're going to do, you're not going to be able to compete in the US markets, period. And that's what the US is going to prevent, is stuff like that. But as far as a coin like Litecoin or Bitcoin or Ethereum, something that's already established, these coins aren't going to be stifled by any means. Yeah. I believe the regulation is going to be positive regulations. And speaking of that, I got to give a shout out to Coin Center, which is a nonprofit organization in Washington, D.C. that works really diligently on like educating the politicians on blockchain and cryptocurrencies. And I think it's important that we have that kind of stuff going on. I'm actually going to try to see what I can do, not only to get more involved with the Libertarian Party, but to help out these nonprofit organizations on a political level.
Very cool.
I think it's important that, you know, to get involved with things like that, where I didn't used to think that I had any kind of option to be able to like have any impact on any these situations. Like I felt small, like I knew the situation was corrupt, but there was nothing I could do about it. And now I'm feeling like I can do something about it because other people are doing something about it. And the more of us who do something about it, people are going to hear it. And so I think that's awesome that, you know, we've got that going on.
Yeah, I'll have to check them out. I don't know a lot about, I've heard of them, but I don't know a lot about them. I haven't followed up with it, but that's very cool.
I mean, I want to say that they're going to be heavily involved with picking some of this regulatory people. Cause I mean, and I think they're going to be moving with the process fairly fast. based off, especially the where we're at the year, the quarters and stuff. I think this is like, I think it's coming really soon, and it's being speculated by people, insiders in the crypto industry, that it's coming soon. So with that and these merchant things, I mean, it's almost like as if we're right here on the breakthrough of it just like popping. Yeah, which is great, man. Which is why we encourage people to get involved in cryptocurrency, but to be smart. Just you don't want to buy in on these highs. When you start hearing about Bitcoin going up and it goes above $20,000, that is not the time that you need to be buying. You need to be smart and watch these markets, because when we do see, like with Phil, when we see these all-time highs, we do see a correction. So, that's the problem with people have that FOMO, that fear of missing out, and they think they got to jump in, but they end up buying in at the wrong time. And there's still a large portion of people that bought in on Bitcoin above 16,000, and they're still right now in the negative. But I know in the long run, or I feel in the long run, that they're going to be, in the long term, they're going to be up on their gains. But right now they're down, and when you're down, it starts making you doubt, have that fear, that uncertainty.
Yeah, don't wait till Bitcoin goes to 20,000. Buy it now.
Yeah, right now would be a really good time.
Buy it now.
I mean, if you have some extra money, if you got your fiat airdrop from the government, I would say that you should take that tax money and invest it into some cryptocurrency.
Absolutely.
I mean, even if anything, just take a small portion. If you just buy one Litecoin. I mean, if you're not sure, just buy one Litecoin. And just
Litecoin shot up to, I believe, 252 or 253 last night in a matter of 30 minutes. It was down to like 225, I think.
I saw that volume spike.
Oh, dude, the volume was insane. But the problem was it was trying to blow through the roof. The problem was so many people had set sell orders at 250 or 240 and then at 250, because it was just parabolic, and then it hit that wall at 240, and then it kind of teetered, and then it shot back up to 250, and it hit another wall, and it just couldn't budge over that wall. There's too many sell orders that were set while people were sleeping.
It's currently down 219.
Oh, it went all the way down to 219?
It's dropped 10%.
Yeah, Bitcoin's been...
This on Bittrex right now. Bitcoin currently is down 5.83% at 10,811. So it's kind of come down since I thought it was teetering around that 11.5 mark we were talking earlier, and since then it's gone down. But I've been keeping a tight watch on the volume of the overall market, and also for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin.
I got 224 right now.
I'm looking at my Blockfolio for Bittrex. Are you looking on Coinbase?
I'm looking at CoinMarketCap.
Okay.
So I got 224. Whatever. I mean, it's
it's $5 fluctuation still. I mean, it's saying here the low in the past 24 hours on Bittrex now in the past 24 hours would be 215 low, 239 high.
Everything's red right now. I don't know what's going on in Asia. The only ones that are green are the pump coins, the Doge coins of the world, the red coin, DigiDAO.
Which when it's red, that's the time to buy. This is why we're saying
red coin, RED.
Well, no, I'm saying, but it is red right now. Like the price of Litecoin has gone down. If it hit 250 last night and you can get it for 220 right now, I see it going up a lot further than that. Even as close as next week, I see it going above $300 once Lightpay starts coming out.
I wish the government airdrop of my money that has not been sitting in escrow this whole time, that hasn't been collecting interest in government bank accounts, I would like to see that now so I could buy some more Litecoin.
For something I heard, they weren't even doing anything till after the end of January. They weren't giving any refunds out, where I think people who could, if they had their information at the end of the year, they could file early.
I filed the day of.
Yeah, but I don't think they were releasing any funds to anybody till after January. No, I don't participate in those reindeer games, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, dude.
I haven't participated in those fucking reindeer games for several years, and I'm not going to.
My life was just a terror when I was 1099, when I worked as an independent contractor before I started being W-2'd.
I don't work.
Yeah, well, I do. And
I know. I mean, I've
1099
worked before.
It was a nightmare, saving every single thing that I did to try to deduct from the highest tax bracket that I was automatically tossed into. And the fact that I work super hard, but I never got married. I don't have any kids. I don't take any government welfare. I never have like a state or federal, no welfare whatsoever, but I am the most highly punished person that exists. Thank you for that. I was smart, so I get punished.
I mean, without even getting into it, man, I'm just gonna say taxation is theft. And so let's talk about Litecoin Cash.
Oh,
Ooh. So what were you saying about the weekend and private?
No, I was just messing with you, man. Where were you? I probably should have done it because it's free money, but I was really worried about it being a scam and stealing people's Litecoin.
Well, I mean, let's kind of talk about that for a minute, because we're at a position now where Litecoin Cash, where the fork is taking place and people can get their Litecoin Cash. And in order to do that, they're going to have to import private keys. Mm-hmm. So that, I think, was your biggest fear, right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to expose your private keys to anyone ever. So there was an avenue by which it was being done that I guess was smart. I didn't pay attention. I was busy all weekend and I just said, F it. I didn't want to take the risk.
The safe avenue with any kind of situation, with any kind of coin that you own that you know is going to fork, you have a secure wallet where you keep your funds at. That is your wallet. So when you know a fork is coming up, usually you're going to be given a date and a time or a block number to be given an estimation. And in this case, we were. We knew it was going to be Sunday and it was going to fluctuate. They thought it was going to be like somewhere around 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and it ended up being like 2:30-ish p.m. Mm-hmm. So what you would do in that instance is you would take your coin. In this situation, Litecoin. I sent my Litecoin from my wallet. I downloaded the Litecoin core wallet from the Litecoin.org website, and it took like 4 hours for it to install because it has to update the entire blockchain, which is like right over 6 years for Litecoin. And transfer my funds from my wallet to the Litecoin core wallet. And when the fork takes place, they take a snapshot. At that point, once the snapshot has taken place, then you're good to go on the fork. Then you take and move your coins back to your original wallet that you started out with to begin with. So then now the wallet that the fork took place has absolutely zero funds in there. Mm-hmm. So when you're exposing a private key, you're not actually exposing a key that's going to hurt you. So that's what people need to understand. So if you're in a situation where, let's say you have a Ledger Nano S, which was the situation with Phil. Now, Phil ended up not having his on his Ledger Nano S, but if you would still have your Litecoin on your Ledger Nano S and you download the Litecoin Cash Core wallet and you import the key from your Ledger Nano S into the Litecoin Cash Core wallet, you have then exposed your private key and you've got funds available where your private key is exposed, which means people can steal your funds, which is the reason why you need to be careful about who you give your private keys to. It's very important that you keep possession and you do this the smart way, because if you would have done this the way I'm doing it, and done it the safe way with any fork, if you know Bitcoin's going to fork, do it the same way. Send it to another wallet. Now, had I known, like, Coinomi was a mobile wallet that was automatically given the fork coin. You didn't have to do any importing of your key or nothing like that. But I didn't find out till after the fork that they were doing it, so that didn't really help. I would have transferred Coinomi, Coinomi. It's actually a pretty decent little mobile wallet. They tend to be pretty technological, so they've worked with most of the forks. I'm not going to say all the forks. I know they did Bitcoin, Cash, and gold, but I don't think that they mess with any of the others, like all the million other forks of Bitcoin. Bitcoin God and Bitcoin Plus.
It's never gonna end, dude.
I didn't know this, man, but there was a fork of Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Candy.
They're just ripping.
It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. And I can't say right now, it's too early to speculate whether Litecoin Cash is going to have any volume. What we were looking at like a $7, $8 price roughly right now for one Litecoin Cash. Now, if you go to their website, which is litecoinca.sh.
Nakamoto did a video tonight saying that if people had their Litecoin on Coinbase when the fork happened, it is likely that you are going to get the Litecoin Cash. You just have to raise a fuss about it, and most people are going to. So,
but that also means if the coin does anything, I mean, the coin ends up turning into a Bitcoin God or a Bitcoin Diamond, they're not even a waste their time.
Based on what you said and what I read earlier, is that it's just an old mining rigs that are going to be able to mine the old way with Litecoin before the updates to the system. So, who cares?
Yeah, it's using
that's not going to hurt Litecoin.
526.
It's not like what Roger.
No, it's not. It won't at all. And it's not going to attack it either.
No, it's not going to.
It's not going to try to taste.
It's just more of a matter of a confusion thing that we're worried about. People thinking Litecoin Cash is Litecoin, like new people that are coming in and buying Litecoin Cash. Oh, it's cheaper, but it's still Litecoin, so I'm going to buy it. No, it's not. So,
right.
If that's the worst thing that happens, though, then okay. It's not like Bitcoin Cash, which is a full-on assault on Bitcoin.
Right. It's not like they're trying to say they're the real Litecoin, that they're the true vision of Charlie Lee. No, but also, now that we're saying this too, I mean, I'm not coming out in support of Litecoin Cash right now. I'm still, it's still in that stage of I want to figure out what's going on with it. I did figure out how to secure my coins, safely, but we got to note that we're both fans of Charlie Lee. We got a lot of respect and love for you, Charlie Lee. And, he's called this a scam. So I don't know if he's saying that because it kind of hurts his feelings that somebody did this, to his baby. But,
well, dude, I mean, I'd be pissed if someone stole my shit. So,
but it doesn't seem like these guys are it doesn't seem scammy so far. Like they're listed on exchanges. There's wallets that are supporting it. If exchanges like Bitfinex and like Binance, if they start Bittrex, if they start adding Litecoin Cash, then that's going to change the game a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like it's not exactly the case, but it's kind of like a Chinese corporation hacking an American corporation's database and stealing their intellectual properties. It's still theft. And you're, in a lot of ways, but it's cryptocurrency. It's the wild, wild west. This isn't, that's part of the decentralized thing. I mean, this stuff is going to happen. We're just going to have to deal with it. It's already happened. It's not going, you can't stop it. You can't reverse time. So it is what it is. I don't really care.
I mean, it's capitalism. If anybody wants to fork a coin, they can. And,
right.
And also just, and then we'll kind of end on this, kind of subject, but Ivan on Tech did a video just recently where he was showing how, I think it's a 15-minute long video where he made an ICO. He created his own coin, not made an ICO, but created his own cryptocurrency. And when he's copying codes and all this, it's well beyond my tech knowledge, but he was showing how easy it was. So, I mean, anybody can create a coin. Mm-hmm. Anybody can, if me and you decided we wanted to fork off of Litecoin and create a new coin, we could, if we had the tech people, we could essentially do it, but whether that's right, ethical, or whether it's speculative, or if the coin's even going to do anything, that's where you need to educate yourself.
Yeah, I mean, totally.
I mean, it's been crazy, man. I just think that we're at the beginning of a lot of great things. I think these next couple months are gonna be freaking amazing, in my opinion. And the closer we get to this 1388, even though its Bitcoin is retraced down a little bit, I still feel like Cliff High's prediction is going to come to fruit, and
It looks like it. We'll see.
that'll be some wild stuff, man. To think that over a year ago,
Those were Webbot predictions from last summer, I think, right?
it was a little bit over a year ago. I can't remember the specific date, and it came up like several times in the data. But when we talk about these web bots, like, you know what I compare it to is like, the thing I told you I like Game of Thrones. It remind me, I think the character's name is Varys.
Mm-hmm.
He's the bald-headed eunuch.
The spider.
Yeah, he has like all of his little spiders, like, and they were all these little kids and stuff that were like gathering information to bring them to him. But it's the same concept to me. He's like, he's got his little robots collecting all this language. It's linguistics. It's some crazy stuff.
I don't pretend to understand all that, dude. I'm not that smart. So
since we're talking about Cliff High, Cliff High was interviewed by this lady, and I forget her name, but I think you're like all obsessed with this chick.
Heidi Vandenberg, Channel 27. I think it's Channel 27, Heidi Vandenberg on YouTube.
Yeah, so what, we want to do a double date with her and her homegirl? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Jenny.
We can do like a show.
I admit it, I'm in love with her. So be it. What are you going to do?
Okay, so Jenny and Heidi, we want to do a show with you together. So we're going to reach out to you, and you should reach out to us so we can all do a show together.
Yeah, not be like super weird or creepy or anything. Like, we could talk about cryptos or wherever. You guys can do the tarot cards on me. That would be hilarious, although I'd be probably terrified of what would come out. But yeah, I mean, I love her, dude. She's hilarious. That show is funny. I like it for the entertainment value, and there's some substance too. It's an enjoyable show for the most part. They had some crazy guy on last night, though. I mean, he was a wacky dude. He was cool, but he was just wacky as hell. And I was laughing. I had a really good time watching that last night. So
I have to check it out.
His name is Rex. I don't follow. Not a subscriber. I just, for last night was the first time I ever seen him, but he's out there, man. Entertaining fellow.
I mean, it's like I only have so much with studying and stuff in school, like, and all my homework I only have so much time to watch stuff on YouTube, so I kind of got to be a little bit choosy. And I've got certain things people that I like to watch on a regular, especially like Arcane Bear. Yeah, I'm pretty regular with Arcane. There's other ones that I like to watch, but there's a lot of really good, interesting stuff, and even like not talking about, because Heidi Vandenberg is not like necessarily all about crypto. I think she talks about it periodically.
She's like astrology, or I don't want to butcher it. It's Vedic astrology, I believe, and she had Cliff High on, and she's just starting to get into cryptos. She has a real estate and a mortgage lending background, which I also have, so I know kind of like what they're discussing in those aspects too. But it's just, yeah, she's cool. It's a fun show. So
I also like it's not crypto, but Jordan Sather does Destroying the Illusion, man.
I don't know who that is.
He talks about a lot of QAnon stuff. He talks about some things that that's a little bit off the wall that I don't necessarily agree with, but it's interesting to learn. I like to listen to people, even if I don't agree with all the things they say. I like to listen to people who think outside the box, man, because you know that they're thinkers, that they're really putting some thought into what they're talking about. And
yeah, I mean, in YouTube land, woo-woo land, there's a lot of batshit mentally ill people that do videos, but there's also a lot of really smart, incredible people that don't toe the normal line of society in the realms of spirituality, psychology, symbolism, all kinds of different arenas. And there's some really good stuff out there too. So you got to take the good with the bad, dude. It's like anything else in life.
I agree.
Me and you are more kind of like realists. At least I am. I don't want to speak for you. I'm more of a realist. I try to just stick with the meat and potatoes. I'm not a big showman type of guy. I don't do the winks and the nice mannerisms. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
That's not my personality, so I don't have that kind of smooth, delivery and all that stuff. I'm just, what you see is what you get on the television screen. So
right. I mean, I'm becoming more comfortable with doing this. It was weird, and I like doing stuff with other people because it's so much better to interact than talking to myself, looking at a camera. It's really weird. So
I have way more fun doing these types of videos or interviews than I do doing my individual ones. Like I do. I just have way more fun with this.
I mean, I agree, and we can dialogue. Just it creates thought, and it creates people to think about things, and we might be talking about something that somebody's been thinking about and give them some different insight. That's the whole idea with this. And I mean, I love the interaction, but I am going to try to work better on not go, oh yeah, I'm not going to try to do all that stuff, but I do want to try to work on some entertainment factor to it as well, make it enjoyable. So, and I find that we can do that more in these kind of situations where we're talking to each other, because I admire somebody that can sit here and create the entertainment factor and not have anybody to feed off of necessarily. They might have somebody in the room helping them with their situation, but not communication to feed off of. So there are a few rare breeds like Crypt Zero, Crypto News, Omar Bam. He does a really good job of being really informative, serious, but he also is entertainment. So it's not too much entertainment. Whereas like I like Jay Snip for, but I look at him as being like more entertainment than more valuable content necessarily.
Sometimes. I mean,
I'm not dogging the guy. I really, I think he's a good dude. I think he's got nothing but great intentions. But
hey, I like Jay Snip. He's a good dude. When he starts going into those singing shows and stuff like that, where he's like, you just leave me, I'm gone.
Not only that, I mean, since you brought that up, man, like.
Speaking of which, my dog is pulling on my leg again right now. Hold on a second.
If Jay Snip 4 is watching this, man, like, stop doing like old cheesy music.
Yeah, dude, do some new stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think the newest one they did was like a remake of Every Day I'm Hustling, because they do Every Day I'm Hodling. That might be the newest song, but they're all like 80s songs and stuff. It's like, remake something newer, like be a little bit more contemporary with your freaking parody music. I mean, if you want to be the Weird Al of cryptocurrency, stick with current music, brother.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's probably the only person on YouTube that I look better bald than.
What's really funny though, it's like his hair grows fast as shit.
Oh yeah, dude, the little bit he's got, man, it's like a bush.
It is so crazy. So he's in Florida. I would actually love to hang out with that.
Oh yeah, he's a cool dude. He's a good guy. He cares about people.
I know he does. He's got a good heart. I wouldn't watch.
He's out to make money too, like anyone else is. But he does. He has a really soft side. He's a good person. The things he talks about a lot. I watch a lot of his shows. So
I watch the majority of his stuff.
I've been watching. He was one of the first people I started watching on cryptos when I got into all this. And I don't know how I found him. One day his thing just popped up and I clicked on him. But I've learned a lot from Trader Jay and Jay Snip. And he's got a lot of trolls and he's got a lot of haters. That silver gold guy who's just an absolute psychopath.
Right.
Nobody in this world, I don't know about you, but I don't know anyone that's perfect.
Okay. Since we're on this subject, and I mentioned this to you before, I live in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
I'm in Chicago, well, outside of Chicago. Right.
And you're in Aurora, Illinois,
where it's about 22 miles from the city,
where Wayne's World was filmed.
Mm-hmm. Going back to the 90s, man.
But with Winston-Salem, North Carolina, from what I understand, Trader J lives here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I've been trying to reach out. Like, I've actually on my Facebook and Instagram have mutual friends with his sons, and because he's such a good trader, I figured maybe the two of us could meet and maybe I could do something.
He
I don't
will.
know.
He likes his privacy, dude.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome. But
but I would, if you're watching this, man, I'm here in Winston-Salem, man. I would love to be able to learn from you. So feel free to reach out. Also, man, even if he just wants to clarify, he could come on a show with me and you if he wants to try to defend himself a little bit just against all these haters.
That dude honestly doesn't give a F what anyone thinks about him. At least if you watch his shows, he just doesn't care. And I love people like that. So as long as they're in the right, I mean, as long as they're not scumbags, which I don't believe he is.
No, I mean, at the same time, now when we talk about these people, especially like people who are giving trading advice, you got to take that for what it is. I mean, you're learning from a person's perspective. He's not teaching you the exact be all end all of how to do this. He's just showing you what he does. So, I mean, that's where you need to educate yourself. If you're wanting to learn about trading and you're going to pay somebody to teach you or learn from, make sure you're researching and trying to get some results and see that this person can actually trade and not just trying to sell you the idea of knowledge.
Yeah. And I mean, like, in regards to what you just said right there, I don't consider myself to be a veteran trader or an expert trader by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I know more than most people do, like getting into this, but like, I am no expert. And when guys like him, or Crypto Bud, or, Phil Akonike, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Or even Tone Vase.
No, well, I don't want to talk.
I mean, anybody who wants to
I'm not a huge fan of base, but anyway, like my point is that when those guys start speaking and they start charting, I shut up and I listen, and I'm not going to start doing courses on how to trade or any of that nonsense. I'm just basically going to give you any information and insight that I have into this industry that people need help with. You can ask me a question. If I don't know the answer, I'll go find it for you. That's the type of dude I am. So, that's what it is. So,
I mean, well, so I want to encourage, if you're watching this and you're not familiar with any of these people that we're talking about that are on YouTube, definitely check them all out. The people that we spoke about, are what we think are some of the better kinds of people that you want to be watching and learning from within this space and community. So would you agree with that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I got to give a huge shout out to Bixie too. Bix Weir. Road to Ruda, look him up on YouTube. He was the absolute first person I ever found when I got into cryptocurrencies. And that dude, I don't like to push people on other people, but that dude taught me a hell of a lot about cryptocurrencies and the whole dynamic that the changing of the systems, and his videos that he did on the Federal Reserve in regards to the Road to Ruda comic books that came out of the Boston Fed.
Yeah, you guys need to definitely check what he's talking about out with this Bix Weir.
Dude, it's legit. I looked up everything to make sure I wasn't, in some, believing in some crazy conspiracy on that, because my idea, ever since I was like 16 years old, and I picked up The Creature of Jekyll Island and Bill's Mars books, I've been so against the Federal Reserve in every aspect. But, this has opened up my eyes a little bit to what has been transpiring inside the war inside the Federal Reserve, between the good guys and the bad guys. And that's been going on for a long time. And it's interesting, take it with a grain of salt if you want, but it's very interesting information that you can, what we always talk about, Chris, is, increasing your awareness and your consciousness of the world around you, thinking outside the box. It's so important. I made many mistakes in my life. And like I said earlier, I am not a perfect human being by any stretch. But, one thing I would like to impart wisdom on other people, younger people, millennials getting into this right now is, you need knowledge. You need logic, you need wisdom when you are, looking things up or doing research, of course. But it's so important for you as a human being to be a complete individual, to study history, study, finance, all to make yourself such a more well-rounded person going into the future. So when you have children, they're not little assholes growing up as well, like some of these other kids are that are one-way tunnel vision, and they don't know shit from Shinola, in my opinion, of course. But you want to be a well-rounded person, wisdom, logic, do your homework on things, make yourself a better human being, an enlightened human being.
I talk about that with Practice Change, man. You know, we need to be the change that we want to see in the world. And so, I mean, that starts with us as individuals.
Absolutely.
And the more that we can change as individuals, the more that we can have an impact on others that will see that change within us. And when you got something that comes from the heart and you're doing things for the right reason and you're on that right path, you know, everything's going to be made straight for you. And it's just going to be the way it's going to be made. And I think that the world right now is calling for people to do what we're doing.
The world is calling out for human beings to become better. Again? I said the world is calling out for human beings to be better people.
But just to be human again, really. Human again. Just to be human, just to get out of this physical world and realize what the world is around you, not just what you see. Because love is so powerful, man. If we can just start being more loving, positive, compassionate, tolerant people.
Men being men again. That's a very, very important aspect. Men to be men again, instead of these metrosexual or I don't know, what are the terms now, the genders? I can't even get into all that. But manhood is a very, very special thing that was a gift given to us by nature. And I'm not talking about being chauvinist pigs. I'm talking about being real men, using your hands, understanding how to change, you know, a tire when your tire blows out on the road.
Being able to be self-sufficient.
Being self-sufficient.
Take care of your family properly.
In the state. Not looking to government to solve all your freaking issues, every single thing, not blaming the world and white people or women or black people or brown people for all of the problems that you have in your life. Figure your shit out, be a man, start solving problems by becoming a much more well-rounded person and an educated individual, using wisdom and logic in your life. Having a strong central family, strong amount of love for your fellow human beings that deserve it, that deserve respect. You know, respect is earned. And, you know, it's just all these things that come together into making what, you know, we've kind of been talking about, a well-rounded, enlightened human being. And I'd like to see more men, because we are going in the wrong direction, and it's really being felt, the shockwaves throughout society. So
it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy where we're at and what's happened to society, civilization. It's just, as much as I like to think that we evolve like technologically and have like all these advancements, we've like devolved in so many other ways.
Well, technology is going nuts, and human evolution is stagnant.
It's crazy. It's almost backwards. It's not necessarily stagnant.
The directions.
So, I mean, but that's just something people need to wake up to. I mean, once you start going down some of these little rabbit holes, you'll start seeing things, you know, and you'll start waking up to the truth around you. And definitely, you know, check out people like us. You know, and, you know, speaking of that, we both, again, have our own YouTube channels. So we'll have links down below for both of our YouTube channels. Mm-hmm. Definitely, if you found value and liked what you see, subscribe, please share this with your friends. If you're on YouTube and you want to, do anything with us, please feel free to reach out to both of us or each one of us individually.
Send me a message. You can catch me on Facebook or on Twitter on here. Put it in the comments section. Get a hold of me. I don't mind. I would love to do, like we talked about earlier, I'd love to do shows. I'd love to do shows with all of us combined, shows with other people, and just get, just become a bigger part of the whole ecosystem. So I'm trying. We'll see how it works out, but it does take time. You have to be patient. And
it does. But I think the more that we can build this community, the more people are going to be able to trust their sources a little bit better, even though we're telling you still to research what we're telling you. If we have a community, you kind of know who are the good guys, by the way that we're sticking together. And, a lot of us on YouTube have the same goals. None of us are financial advisors, or at least most of us are not financial advisors and do not give financial advice. And we're just here to try to help because we see the future and we know the change is going to take place and we support that. And we want to be able to provide tech support basically for people to get into the space. It's basically the best way to kind of describe it. So please check us both out on YouTube. Is there anything that you want to add, man, before we wrap this thing up?
No, not really, man. I mean, Heidi, if you're watching, I want to be on your show, girl. Give me a call. Give me a shout out. Let's do it. No.
I will reach out to her. I'm actually not going to do it tonight, but within the next couple of days, I'll reach out on that end.
I'd love to do a show with anyone, though, to be honest with you. I'm just joking around with the Heidi thing because she's pretty much the hottest girl on YouTube. But, I'm not just a crypto person. I got a lot of different beliefs and a lot of different views I want to express. So it doesn't have to just be about cryptocurrencies. We can do all kinds of different stuff, and I'm open to all of it. The stuff that I know anything about it.
Right, which is, that's one of the reasons why I like doing this with you is that we can talk about subjects that interest us. Between the politics and the cryptocurrencies, we've got a wealth of stuff to talk about, and we both definitely bring a different perspective on things, which I think is the important part of having these kind of dialogues and having more people involved.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Ken too about maybe because I'm not sure if he wants to keep it to a limit of people, but I'll see if maybe you can join us on a Thursday or something, because the plan is technically every Thursday at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Ken Bozak's channel on YouTube. We'll go live. And it would be me, Ken Bozak, and Crypto Mac.
Crypto Mac, yeah, I've seen him.
M-A-A-K. It's not M-A-C-K. He's actually a really cool dude. He's really knowledgeable on a lot of things too. So that's the other thing too that I think is cool about the community is that everybody is going to bring something different. We share a similar mindset and goals that we're trying to accomplish with this, but everybody's going to bring something different to the table. I do trade, but I'm not an advanced trader by any means. I'm still learning. Phil's probably a better trader than I am. But there's things I'm sure I'm better at that Phil's better at, and that's what makes for a good community.
Where were you this weekend, dude? So I could have gotten my cash, my Litecoin cash. I needed you. Don't return. You're big time in me, man. Don't return my calls, my text.
You need to blow Bittrex up.
What's that?
You need to blow Bittrex up.
Yeah, right.
Tell them to add that Litecoin cash. Then it's probably won't need to be.
I'm not telling people how much, but that would have been a lot of money, free money. So. And I would have.
Free money is nice, man.
I don't know what other people did, but I just would have sold it and then bought Litecoin.
I wouldn't have. I'm not going to immediately sell. When I get my Litecoin cash, which should be within the next 24 hours, I'm going to look and see, because a lot of people have not even received their Litecoin cash yet, haven't even gotten it yet. So if you think of it that way, the more people who get their Litecoin cash, and if they do dump it, then the price will go up.
Mm-hmm.
If I see the price start spiking above a point that I think is a good price, I'll take a portion of my coins and I'll sell part of them off. And then if it goes up higher, I'll sell another part of them off. Because it's free money in the long run. Whether it's $100, $1,000, or $22,400, just to throw out some random number. But it could be considered free money. So please check us out on YouTube and check us and subscribe, like, and all that good stuff. We're going to try to come back with the regular episodes and all that good stuff and try to bring some more quality content. We just had so much to catch up on this episode, I think, and talking on here that, kind of didn't really have like a specific thing. We kind of went over a lot of different things. I think because it's been 2 weeks, we kind of needed to do that.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. It was a good time as usual. So looking forward to the next one.
We'll coordinate.
Yeah.
So again, please check out the Modern Guru on YouTube, Rice Crypto on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Yeah, and HODL.
Fucking HODL, boys and girls. Fucking HODL.
I love you people, man. Peace, love, anarchy, and freedom.
Critical thought, people. Don't think with emotion. Think with logic. When you think with emotion, you do not think logical. You don't come up with solutions. That's very important in all the time, the trying times that we have, all the situations in our life. Emotion is good, and I understand it. We all get emotional, but try to come up with solutions for your individual life or in societal issues without emotion, because it leads you down a dark path. So that's it.
Testify, brother.
I love everybody. I will see you soon. I love Litecoin. I'm out.
Peace.